Going to be a reading about the current alignment in the sky, often known as the finger of fate or the finger of God. And it's a yod, which is a particular type of triangular alignment. And what's funny is I've been looking for information on it for a little while, and there really wasn't much. And even when I went to look it back up today, there's still only a little bit of information. It's not many people covering it, so it's interesting. And I have the sense, because I'm going to do, first we're going to talk about the collective energy, and then I'm going to do each sign, like a card pull for each sign, and how it's most likely directly affecting you. But what that tells me off the bat is that a lot of the fated things happening right now are things that are happening in the background. Things that we might not know about directly in the 3D, but either we know about them in our hearts, in our minds, or we've got some sort of sign, some sort of breadcrumbs or clues or things that are helping us remember ourselves. And it definitely feels like it has a part of that energy, the great remembering going on. And interestingly enough, so the Finger of Fate started on March 10th, and it officially ends on April 10th. Now, that's interesting too because it lines up with some of the readings that I did and also some readings I meant to do and didn't get out for like 311. And, I'm going to do something for 411, which will be the day after that. Now, the peak of this Finger of Fate stuff actually happened about 3 days ago. So think about what happened, what was going on in your life 3 days ago, and also what was going on maybe 3 days before that. That's gonna there's something within what happened within the last 6 days that really it has to do with how you're being affected by the Finger of Fate. And I don't see any coincidence in the fact that it's lining up. Part of the end of it is lining up with the full moon in Libra because Libra is all about releasing. And interestingly enough, the yod is between Chiron, Vesta, and Saturn, which is very, very, like, I mean, you want to talk about fate, like if you get into learning about any of the pantheon of Greek gods, and like, I mean, and translate them into any other pantheons that you like, but that's quite powerful. And I mean, I think I'm still going to do another reading just for fun of the Clash of the Titans energy, but this really feels like what Spirit has been saying about that because Saturn itself, which shout out to other fellow Capricorns, and those are strong Capricorn placements because that's our ruler. And it's all about karma, time, um, growth, maturity, things like that, and boundaries and healthy limitations, things like that. But it's also about learning to enjoy life, learning that while everything matters, nothing really matters at the same time. And it is very much, especially when Saturn is direct, about paying your karmic debts. And I think that really, really fits with full moon in Libra, which is Justice card. Definitely in there. Now, Vesta, which is, some say is the actual true ruler of Virgo, but Vesta is a very interesting goddess. It's actually an asteroid rather than a planet, but it's a powerful one. And it is, Vesta is the, oh, how do you even put it? She's like the slutty virgin sort of being. She is very much all about her sexuality, and yet she doesn't focus on sexuality at all. She is the goddess of thresholds, like going between, that midpoint, like when you're crossing through a doorway, that space just in the doorway, that's right where she exists. And or not where she exists, that's where she kind of rules over things. And she's both that part of us that is the bright virgin and the prostitute, and the light and the dark. Some people liken her actually to the high priestess card in the deck, and that's often why it can be related to Virgo. And so, I mean, already if we see the dynamics between Saturn and Vesta, a lot of that has to do with the balance between us and the thresholds we're on in beginning new cycles, and not necessarily ending old cycles, but taking them to a new level and really looking at the light and dark within all of us. And then Chiron, interesting fact. So Chiron was abandoned at birth. Chiron is the wounded healer energy, and he very much. It's funny. So you can look at like the Sagittarius glyph, the centaur. So Chiron was a centaur. He was the healing doctor of the gods, and he was abandoned at birth because he was born half horse, half human, and they didn't like that. They didn't appreciate that he was different, and so I think that that really highlights an energy that I'm definitely picking up on in the collective, which is, again, facing fears of abandonment. And I think in this case, it's not just fear of being abandoned, but fear of abandoning. And that can show in many ways. That could show up in, I mean, if you're in a twin flame union, that could show up there. It's a good way to have that stuff triggered. It can show up in karmic relationships, especially if they're coming to a close. And it can show up in parental relationships, whether you're the parent or the child. You're usually both. It can show up in friendships. It can show up in ways that you're abandoning yourself, maybe with self-care stuff or commitments and goals that you put on the back burner that are for your own highest good or just your highest joy. And so, I mean, if we look at that dynamic, I mean, think about that. We've got Chiron facing off with Saturn and Vesta. So we've got that fear of abandonment versus the need for healthy boundaries and limitations and lesson teaching of karma, learning our lessons and teaching others lessons, and and facing off with that good and bad side of us all, embracing our light and embracing our darkness, like the both of them, and again, and then Vesta's facing off with Chiron and Saturn's facing off with Vesta and uh, Saturn. Like, that's a pretty significant dynamic. And I'd imagine that even if things right now seem like they're at a whisper, there's actually a lot more going on than you think. And I'd imagine, in fact, if you're watching this now or when you watch this, like maybe save it in a playlist or something and come back to it this time next year and see if something significant happened, or heck, if something happens next week that you realize was going on during this week, come back and leave a comment. That would just be cool to see. Now, just knowing that stuff astrologically, like that's kind of the overall energy that we're going through. But I'm gonna pull a card for what we're all kind of overall feeling. Let's see if it matches up with that sort of dynamic. And that's what I wanted to say. I think that because of the timing and the alignment with this energy leaving us by being on the tail end of this energy, by the time we get to the full moon in Libra, which is all about, full moons are generally all about releasing things, that there will be a major healing going on. It's probably part of why in one of the last readings we got the storm warning in reverse card. Like, there are storms going on or that have already gone on that are helping us release these old challenges, these fears of abandonment, fears of rejection, fears of not being good enough, fears of not being accepted because we're different from the crowd that we've been used to most of the time, as well as that fear of letting ourselves be who we really are. And I think also because each of these can also have a connection to the reverse side. Like, I mean, we've got High Priestess upright and reverse. So, it may be following that call of spirit, doing the honorable thing, embracing our light and our dark, all of who we are, versus like, how are we being the High Priestess reversed? Or are we with somebody who's reversed, who uses secrets to hurt us, um, or sexuality to hurt us, or as being toxic, things like that. It might be using magic against us. And also really looking at, like, not everything that looks bad is bad, and not everything that looks good is good. Not everything that glitters is gold. And sometimes, it's like pyrite, it's fool's gold. You may think that it's gold and put all your effort into digging it out only to find that it's worthless, and same thing with the Saturn aspect. I mean, that really brings in the devil card, the upright and the reverse. Like, what bondage are we choosing in life? And is it helping us progress? Is it helping us learn? Is it helping us get forward and pay our karmic debts and learn good things? Or is it keeping us locked into cycles that, yeah, they might feel good in the moment. It might feel good to avoid that conflict right now, but it delays the inevitable. It can make the issue even bigger and harder later. Or, like, are we choosing to be with someone because we feel like it makes us more popular or look good on the outside, or because we're afraid of what it'll mean if we have another failed relationship? You know, and same thing with commitments that we might have. Like, are we putting them on the back burner because we're afraid to face them, or because they're no longer serving us? You know, and also, I mean, it's really big to do with our commitments. You know, what are our priorities, and are they healthy for us? Are they acknowledging those who actually need us, or are we putting our focus and energy into people who really just suck our energy but make it seem like they need us? You know, and with that Chiron energy, I mean, I don't know that there's a specific card necessarily that would be related to the Chiron energy, other than maybe like the Eight of Wands, which is often associated with the Wounded Healer card. Like Chiron, especially having been abandoned mostly for what he looked like he had to heal himself. He didn't have others there to heal him, and that's what helped him become such a great healer, and rise up to become the doctor of all the gods and things like that, and of humans, and to bring medicine to people, because he had to go inward. He had to trust spirit. He had to do a lot of things alone. And so that aspect, I mean, and that card in particular is about boundaries, and it's about where are we being too defensive and where are we not defending ourselves, things like that. Anyways, I think I could probably go on and on about that, but let's get a card for overall for everybody and see how this is affecting us collectively in terms of these wonderful cards. Okay, this one, oh, interesting. So it's the second chakra, Archangel Ariel, in reverse. So this is definitely pulling us back from a sacral chakra place, and that's that's not necessarily a bad thing. So, like, I mean, if you've not felt very sexual or social or things like that, that could be a big, a big reason for it, because that energy, it's pulling back some of the otherwise creative energy that you might have to distract yourself, so that you really have to see it, like, and that's a really big collective thing. And if you're seeing more things that are orange too, that could be indication that you're really working on that. And anything to do with parenting, sex, childbirth, tantra, kink, all that stuff, even parenting and stuff like that, all has to do with sacral chakra stuff. It's definitely where it starts. And you may or may not also be affected by the two chakras right next to it, the root chakra and the solar plexus chakra. And I think this really fits too, because one of the things that I saw in the 7-day read, which covers these aspects, is that we're seeing definitely healing needs going on with the solar plexus, the third chakra, where it's about personal power. So I think that this particular aspect, the finger of fate, is coming in to help us with that specifically. And we're seeing on the underall and the shadow work one, the sun, which, it's about vulnerability. It's also about embracing ourselves, self-care, imagination. It's definitely got some of the Piscean energy in it that we're having a delayed effect on, and very imaginative. And it feels like a lot of it is about seeing what do they say? Seeing isn't believing, believing is seeing. So kind of that sort of thing. And then as the hot topic, we have the door to value in reverse, 31-4. So some sort of stability that has to do with what we value. Oh, that's funny. Look, heart of the matter, yin yang. So there's a lot to do with helping us be balanced, and it feels like it's strengthening our roots in I want to say it's not just strengthening our roots, it's helping us recognize where we already had roots, where we've already invested time and energy into good things, and where we're investing energy into things that are not serving us, which is an energy that's still coming up from the last Mercury retrograde, which came at us about our priorities. And with the Sun card being the first card too, I think that very much speaks to, I mean, it's kind of that Fool card thing too, as to where, like, what are we starting? What cycles are we allowing in? What ones are we leaving behind? And why? Now, Yeah, I think I'm just going to start pulling. So we'll do for Aries. And each of these cards for the signs, like, it might resonate with you for your sun sign, moon sign, rising sign, or if you look up your Chiron placement. My favorite app is Astro Matrix. You can look that up. And look at, because that often has to do with what karma that you're going through, that you're facing right now. And you might check all your placements, because we probably all are dealing with all issues a little bit, but hopefully this will at least give you something to think on. It might not be specifically what you're dealing with or what your person's dealing with, but it can at least help you work on things and recognize things that are there that you can work on, growth opportunities. Which, that speaking of, I haven't done more of those videos, so maybe I'll do another one of those next. But let's see. All right, Aries, it's your season coming up next. Let's see, one or two cards on what this finger of fate is helping, well, how it's affecting you. That's what I was going to say. How is it affecting you? And we can go by, how is it affecting you? That storm warning reverse card almost came out. We can go by how it's affecting you, and you can take that and decide what you want to do with that energy. Oh, all right. Look at that. Yin yang. So there's something about this finger of fate that's helping bring you balance, especially between feminine and masculine. And I sense that if you have strong Aries placements, you may be finding yourself feeling a bit out of balance, especially in terms of night and day stuff. Maybe you're awake more often at night or having trouble sleeping. And it may be that you're over-focusing on something. Maybe you're over-focusing on work or a karmic situation or distractions, things like that, so that you can try to create the illusion of inner peace and calm when really you're kind of avoiding it. But it is upright, so it seems like it's good. Whatever's going on by April 10th, you'll have much more balance, I think, especially if you focus on, man, that storm warning reverse card almost came up again. I'm just going to pull that out and say that those are the cards for you right now, Aries, that how this finger of fate is affecting you. And with that storm warning in reverse, I think that whatever's going on, especially as we get closer to the full moon, I mean, this is Friday, so we're already in part of the strongest effects, and the full moon is on Sunday. So from now to Sunday, and then Sunday to Tuesday, Wednesday-ish, you're going to see the strongest effects of the moon. And right now we're seeing some of the strongest effects of this finger of fate, which will fade a little bit as the moon energy really comes in. And that energy of the last Mercury retrograde will be in there, like showing you your priorities. And I have a sense that part of how this is affecting you is that you're, like, this feels much, whereas normally in upright I'd just say, oh, this is good, it's helping you learn inner peace, and it is, but it feels more like this is an illusion. It's more that you are pretending to be at peace with things because you're trying to avoid another storm. You're trying to avoid conflict. And on the bottom, we have the thinking woman. Hot topic, man holding a coin reverse. Yeah. And interesting, in the middle, heart of the matter, cornucopia in reverse. So whatever's going on, whatever you're trying to do, you may actually kind of feel like you have an inner peace. Maybe you feel like you ended a fight or you ended a situation. Maybe with a thinking woman, like somebody who's more grounded or who's very thoughtful about the approaches that they take, somebody that you want a good connection with, but maybe you've been trying to keep it quiet to avoid storms with her. Or maybe you are that thinking woman and it's this man holding a coin who's been doing that, like keeping over focused on work. Like, so if you've been over focusing on work, think about how you can bring in more balance. If you've been avoiding conflicts, really look into how you can face them head on. But Aries, we know sometimes your ram horns can get you into trouble. So, I mean, maybe look at like the divine nugget that I talked about where your boundaries should be. When you get violated, take 10 steps back towards yourself. That's where your boundaries should be. Well, I was going to ask for Taurus, but it already popped out, so that's great. So interesting. We have walking away in reverse, and then that second chakra card just came up, but now it's an upright. which is good because at least it shows I actually am shuffling these cards. And interesting, we have 4th chakra in reverse as the shadow card, action as the hot topic, and indecision is the heart of the matter. So this finger of fate is, for you Taurus, it seems like the sacral chakra is all about balance. So you too are also, there's some sort of balancing that you're learning to do. And it actually has to do kind of with not walking away from something. But you're feeling indecisive about it. It feels like you're kind of in jello mold because of this. There's action that you want to take, and either you feel like you cannot take that action, or you feel like there's actions you're taking that you don't want to take. And it's really affecting your heart. Either you feel like you're betraying yourself or you're betraying somebody else. It's interesting, that walking away in reverse. I'm kind of torn. I think for some of you, this is about not reopening a gate, maybe to someone or something that you had opened before. And for some of you, this is about closing an old gate, something maybe that you were approaching working on last year and weren't fully able to work on, and you had to go through some learning and some different contrast first. And now, you know what's funny? It's actually what it kind of feels like, Taurus, is that the big thing for you right now is that you're feeling like you want to walk away. You want to put an issue down. You want to leave it alone, but you're having challenges with that because it affects your sacral chakra. And I'm feeling like this is big inner child work for you also. But I also feel like there's kind of this, you're not going to get all of the information at once, that you're going to kind of have to trust your intuition, which makes sense. In the 7-day reading, we had a lot to do with with the third eye. So trust what you know, and go with that much more than like just dry logic. All right, let's see what's up for Geminis for this finger of fate. How is it affecting you? Thank you for showing us how the finger of fate is affecting Geminis. Oh, all right. How many do we? Okay, that's way too many. I'm gonna look at them now. Interesting. Alright. Looks like, we'll see what cards come back out here. You got a lot of things coming out here, Gemini. It's like way too many for this particular reading that I'm doing, but it seems like you got a lot of things up in the air. Probably leaving somebody that you were in a financial situation with. Either you thought that there was love in it, or you realized that there really wasn't, or man, yeah, you got a lot of love stuff coming up. I'm gonna give these a better shuffle. Let's see here. Thank you for 1 to 2 cards for how this finger of fate is affecting Geminis right now. Oh, alright, what did we get? Okay, we got 2. Oh, we got 3. You know what's funny? It's very, very Geminian, because I'm not getting less than 3 cards here for you. So it may be, Gemini, that this yod, a triangle, has to do, for you, it's affecting you in a third-party situation of some kind. Especially because, I mean, I'm not going to ignore what Spirit's telling me multiple times, which is that there are multiple things going on, and there's multiple times that 3 cards have wanted to come out, even though I've asked for 2. So there's some sort of third-party situation going on. We've got Happy Family in reverse, so it's like the 10 of Cups in reverse. We've got the Temple Path, card 12, related to the Hanged Man. And we've got hostilities in reverse. So somehow, well, let's see what's going on. We've got Healer of the Ages in the shadow card position. You've got action there. That's funny because I shuffled this so many times, and yet there it is. It's right in there with you, just like with Taurus. And I was kind of feeling like there might have been a relation to the Taurus reading. What I was actually sensing was that indecision card. And then let's see what's at the heart of the matter. Yin and yang. Again, at least that shows we are shuffling. So there's some sort of way that you're supposed to have been healing. Maybe even that you're supposed to have been a healer. But you felt all tied up in some, you've been feeling like you've been in some kind of entanglement, or you've been trying to keep someone else entangled with you. Of course, look at the timing of that. So Gemini, it could be either that you've been very guarded and being like a guard dog, or that someone around you is being like a guard dog. And because of the third party energies in it, I'm really getting a sense that either, like, if you're the third party, the other party that you want to interact with has an aggressive guard dog around them. Just FYI, the dog that's barking is not aggressive. He's very well taken care of. He's just a hound dog, and he likes to bark at anything and everything that passes by. You know what's funny? I feel like that might be the energy. It could be that, like, you're feeling reactive, or others around you are feeling reactive. It's like barking at everything, picking at every little thing, or in your mind you're picking at every little thing, when what you really should be focused on is the temple path. You should be focused on healing, turning this into upright. But you're focused on some sort of family situation, or friends, or something that really, it isn't working out, and it's not supposed, like, it's only supposed to be on your path for you to be able to release it to a certain degree. And it feels like with this hostilities card in reverse, what it feels like is that likely this finger of fate is bringing up hostilities in these situations where you're supposed to release them, so that you can get onto your temple path, so that you can start the next evolved cycle of your own spiral cycle, but you're being hostile for some reason. And it feels like, because of the third party energy, that you're likely being hostile with just about everybody. And hostile can still, I mean, even if you're just ignoring somebody, that can be hostile. And not, obviously not as much as pulling out a sword and dragging it at them, but that's stonewalling, it's crazy making. And that can create hostilities, that can create other people being hostile towards you. The other thing is that it might be that you are avoiding a family situation that needs correction. There, you need to, the ball is in your court, and you need to be fixing things, but you're not, either because one of the people in the, because you've got third party situations going on. It's likely that the happy family situation that you could be having is being stopped by somebody who's being hostile, and maybe you're trying to placate them, when really that's not the way to go about it. Like, go towards what makes you feel calm and peaceful and happy. And I also get the sense that these energies are coming in at you in multiple directions, and really causing you to kind of go hermit mode, that temple path thing. Like, you may be secluding yourself in your room, or you may be working a little extra because you're trying to kind of remember your own energy. It also kind of feels like, with like what I was saying about the dog, that maybe it is that, I don't know, I don't feel like it's you watching this, but it's possible that you're involved with somebody who barks at everybody. Either that, or you are somebody who barks at everybody. And having a Gemini rising myself, and being somebody who did used to bark at everybody, it could very well be that that's something that this finger of fate is helping you see about yourself. And if it's not you, then think about who around you is being like that. Is there somebody around you that is getting in the way of you having happy family situations? Like, like either your own family, or your kids, or co-parenting, or things like that, who is barking at everybody? That likely their own kids, themselves, you. other people. Like they don't have a good thing to say about it, and it doesn't even matter whether something happening is good or bad. They just bark at everything. They want to make sure that people know that they're there, and who they are and things like that. And vice versa. If you are feeling like you need to bark at everybody to get them to do what you want, if you're feeling that, then you need to work on release and control, and that will bring you the balance that is in the heart of the matter of this. So it's likely that this finger of fate is affecting you by basically manifesting the larger imbalances that you've probably been using to keep yourself comfortable. If you had people who have been controllable up to this point, either by kindness or love bombing or niceness, or you doing things for them, or by placating them and things like that, they're likely to not be as controllable, or they're going to be distant. If you've had people that are a comfort to you when you're anxious or splitting or hyper fixated, like it's removing those comfort zone things so that you can see what you do and how you act when you are uncomfortable or when you're fearing something. Maybe fear of abandonment. That happy family in reverse could be, maybe you're afraid of being abandoned, and that's creating, I just saw 31:13 on the clock, like that's being reflected also by those around you, and that's likely creating the distance that you don't like, that's creating the hostilities. And I have a feeling with that, even though hostilities is in reverse, because of what I know about what's coming up with the full moon, that it's likely that over this weekend and during the 6 days that majorly play a part in the full moon, it's likely that hostilities are going to come up more. And it'll be kind of one of those, no matter what you do to try to, like, it's not no matter what you do, but like it feels like those hostilities are going to be there anyways. They may even be more heightened simply because that will help you see what's really going on and where you need to work on you, where you need to give yourself the love and the, I don't know how you would say it, because like what's the opposite of fear of abandonment? Like feeling like you'll never be abandoned, where that's that temple path where you need to recognize that, humans are human, including you, but where you'll never be abandoned is with spirit. All right, let's look at Cancer. How's this affecting my Cancerian friends? Oh, interesting. We got the thinking woman in reverse. And then in our shadow position, there's that storm warning in reverse. You also got, you know what, let's see what, you know what, I'm going to keep it, because what I'm seeing is that the action card is on top, and this card popped out real fast before I got much of a shuffling, but I'm going to keep it. I'm not surprised that there's kind of an overarching theme to these, and so action is at the top of it's in the front of your mind during this finger of fate. You're really thinking about, probably about travel, and I kind of see this as kind of a twin flame card too, like there's also a hawk in it, or an eagle. Like you're kind of thinking about the overall issue, but also about freedom, the freedom to take action. And in the heart of the matter, we have the door to personal healing and happiness, but it's in reverse. So there's some sort of situation for you Cancerians, whether, I don't know if this is you. I think for some of you, this is you, the thinking woman in reverse. So it seems more, it could be you or it could be somebody else, but somebody who has been thinking for a while, somebody who usually is very thoughtful about things, is not being very thoughtful. And it's probably procrastinating and splitting and being very rigid about things. I'm curious what's under the storm warning reverse. Interesting. We have the angel of love under there and adjacent possibilities. And look, the thinking man in reverse. And then the garden and the gate in reverse. You got a lot of reverse cards going on here, Cancer, which tells me that this is likely a situation with somebody that you need to communicate with, that you need to take action towards, and you know it. And or if this is you, it's somebody that needs to come towards you. And there's delays in it. likely because of the finger of fate, and I think because of what came up in the Gemini reading, I think everybody's probably all dealing with some sort of a third party situation of some kind. And it has to do with our thinking. And we've got thinking woman in reverse and thinking man in reverse, which can also be overthinking. It may be that this time for you, Cancer, is about overthinking. And Cancer is a very feminine energy, too, so it would make sense that this one's on top. Also, 47, go figure, that equals 11, which the Justice card and relates to the full moon in Libra coming up. And with the storm warning in reverse there, I'm seeing again what I saw in the 7-day card, which is that the one broken pillar is like the broken chess piece. But I also just got this image that it's like there may be somewhere in your life, especially with a feminine figure, that you have found a lot of strength in. And it was kind of like that one pillar in your life that was like holding most of the important weight in the temple that is your life. And without that pillar there, with that pillar broken, you've lost a lot of stability. And it's either pushing you to take a lot of other actions that you hope will bring you freedom, but that are actually preventing your healing. Remember that doorway to healing and happiness. There's something that you need to face with feminine figures in your life. It could even be that this finger of fate is helping you heal mother issues. And with the storm warning in reverse, what I'm getting the sense of is that by April 10th, it's likely that third-party situations that you've been in, that either you've been with somebody who overthinks and overcorrects and is very ungrounded about things, that probably controls your thoughts, especially with that thinking man in reverse there, that keeps you in a reactive place no matter what, that this is going to bring that to light. And the other parties that you have to deal with, I mean, it could be, it's more than likely, even if you're with somebody like that right now, like a karmic or something, it's likely that you're replaying things that happened with your mom. And so think about that. Think about how that affects you, and then think about those in your life who typically would be this, those feminines that are thoughtful and well educated and grounded. And if they're being like this with you right now, then you need to take action to correct that. And you need to take action to heal the femininity in you. Like if you've got challenges where you feel like every woman does this, kind of like all men are pigs, or like if all women trap you, or that you're afraid of someone who sees through you because you're afraid of the truth and it's women, or you're afraid of being tricked or trapped or things like that. Those are things, I think, that's how this is affecting you. It's really causing you to see the contrast and the difference, especially with that Angel of Love card in there, Cancer. It feels like you're very much being, you've got a guardian angel around you. In fact, with that being underneath the thinking woman, it's likely that you probably know who this person is. And it's likely somebody that very much is your guardian angel, and it's also more, in a more literal sense, your spirit guides, your angels that are helping you go through whatever this turbulence is, to end the cycles of storms that you may have experienced for a very long time. All right, moving on to Leo. Thank you, Spirit, for 1 to 2 cards for Leos. How this finger of fate is affecting them. You. Thank you. Oh, all right. One good card. Oh, anxiety. Interesting. And we have the door to value in reverse, and of course financial constraints right underneath that. The door to spirit and the hot topic, and patience in the heart of the matter. Probably not your favorite thing. Interesting. So, I mean, I think the obvious answer, Leos, is that this finger of fate, obviously it's bringing up for you anxiety. There's a lot of red in this card too, so it's kind of root chakra stuff. And I want to say, for those of you that maybe include in Venus or Mars placements, you can do it for all signs, but for, if you have Leo, Venus or Mars, or even South Node, like that might be important, because whatever this anxiety is, it is preventing you from being able to open the door to value and the door to spirit. Let me look at a couple other cards here. Oh, interesting. The Magician in the Mirror reverse wants to pop up too. Let's see. Financial constraints. Goddess of the Moon. Broken heart. And man holding a heart in reverse. Attachment in reverse. Victory in reverse. And the Angel of Balance in reverse. Yeah, Leo, it feels like, I mean, this is 18, so it's related to the moon, which is also related to Cancer and Pisces. It feels like there's some sort of a situation going on for you that you're anxious about. It feels kind of like it's likely family related and pride related, which makes sense with Leo. But it feels like you're hyper fixating. You're putting too much time and focus into a situation that is not serving you. And you're not working on the shadow side of you. And a lot of times when we get anxious, we can be more reactive towards others. We can be more controlling. We can be more egotistical when really we're scared. We're scared of losing somebody. But that's how you get toxic relationships where, you might either you or or somebody that you're entangled with. I'm still going with I think third parties challenges are an issue or are highlighted because of the yod, that you're likely being overly controlling because you're feeling insecure, you're feeling anxious. And yeah, with that lightning in the background, it kind of reminds me of that storm warning card too. And it's likely that because of that, you're actually sabotaging situations that could go very well for you and be very good for you and open up your abundance and release you from financial constraints and open up the door to spirit. But instead, it's creating financial constraints, and spirit is really calling you to release control, to work on anxious attachment, to release anybody, or if this is you, to release that overthinking, that procrastination, even if even if what you're anxious about is losing somebody, it's losing an attachment, it will be better for you. It will bring more victorious situations. And it feels like it's definitely good for you to focus on your intuition. Don't be so afraid of taking a few steps out of the darkness. Yeah, the light, especially if it has to do with being single, it might seem a bit scary, but it's an adventure that you're worthy of, Leos. And especially if if you've been entangled with somebody that doesn't communicate well, or not at a speed that you're comfortable with, or doesn't hold healthy boundaries in ways that you feel like they really should, like, releasing that will bring you a lot more abundance and a lot more self-appreciation than you might think. All right, let's see. Oh, wow. Already popped up right there. I'm glad I shuffled a little bit before, so this is going to be for our Virgo friends. 6th Chakra, Archangel Metatron, card number 40. So this finger of fate for you Virgos is about bringing stability through intuition, through that 6th chakra. And I'm really feeling called that, like, the way he looks is very, very peacock-like. And so you may either be faced with those that are being they're like strutting their stuff, or you may be feeling like doing that. Now let's see. Oh, interesting. You've got cornucopia in reverse on your shadow side, something to do with your abundance. Door to Spirit is upright for you. And the heart of the matter, Goddess of the Moon. Now, Virgo, Vesta is conceivably your ruler, too. And so the Goddess of the Moon could be very Vesta related, even though it's talking about the moon. The moon is light and dark. It can be very innocent and very sexual at the same time. Either way, it feels like this finger of fate is really affecting your ability to open up to spirit, and it may be creating a lack of, like, 3D abundance, like really removing all of the physical resources. Or it may be that some kind of celebration or feast of some kind, some sort of harvesting, is not going to go the way that you think it will, and you probably already know that. Maybe it's going to happen near or on the full moon and you know that it's really not going to go well, but you're going for it anyways for whatever reason. And like that's a part of this process. Like things are not going very well in the 3D for you so that you can get focused with spirit. I'm feeling like I'm going to leave that short and sweet for you guys. All right, Libras. This will be interesting too because the full moon's coming. I think I might do a reading on how the full moon's affecting each sign too. So thank you for how this finger of fate is affecting our Libran friends. Thank you for 1 to 2 cards. The cards want to think about it a little bit for you, Libra. A bunch of cards wanted to kind of come out. Okay, there we go. Interesting. Financial constraints. Card number 13. An angel of love reversed, 49, which is also 13. Which is interesting, Libra, because, I mean, you are the Venusian sign. Taurus is in there too, but you are ruler of the 7th house, which has to do with intimacy and genuine unconditional love. So for you to have this, you know what it feels like is that, you know what, let's see. Shadow card is patience in reverse, and right underneath that is the door to romance in reverse and the door to value in reverse. And then storm warning is the hot topic. And community is at the heart of the matter. You know what it feels like is that right now this finger of fate is, it's bringing out cobwebs of issues for you that have to do more with love than anything else, but that you've likely covered up with financial situations. I don't have enough time to do that. I have to work. I can't pay for that. I have to pay these bills. I can't give you time and attention because I have to work. Or maybe using work to say, look, I'm not doing anything wrong. I'm just working. Either way, there's definitely a highlight for you Librans between love and money. And it may even be that you put yourself in a situation that had more, like you thought that it would be about love, or you knew it wouldn't be about love, but you know, maybe this was, you got into it because of a fear of abandonment or rejection, and you thought at least it would be financially, and it wasn't. It isn't. And it feels like that's kind of what this is bringing up, and because it's bringing that up, you're feeling impatient. You want to get back to actual love. You're starting to realize that money is not the highest value, and in your heart you're really feeling like connecting with community, with family, friends, loved ones, and you're ready for the old cycles to be done with. But you got to stand in your personal power in order to do that, and you really got to turn it in. Like, so if we're looking at this as how it's affecting you, I think what you need to do, Librans, is do this, is turn it into, like, stop putting financial constraints in the way of love situations. And listen to spirit. Listen to your higher self. Follow your heart, Libra. All right, Scorpios. Let's see what's going on for you with this finger of fate. How is it affecting you? Or one of the ways, anyways. 1 to 2 cards, please, and thank you. I'm not going to take that one. Say the thinking woman reverse kind of popped out there a little bit. Oh, all right. Indecision. In the shadow card, you have the 7th chakra, Archangel Ariel. Your crown chakra. Some shadow work doing there. And interesting, 6th chakra in the hot topic, so intuition. I almost feel like that song from Queen, Under Pressure, but it feels like intuition. And this is interesting. Financial constraints is at the heart of the matter. Appreciation is right there underneath that 7th chakra card. And then action, door to spirit, and contract, and decision. I'm feeling like this is kind of a third party-esque sort of thing, which fits in with the yod. It feels like Actually, it feels like you may be feeling like you need to take action and you're being prevented by someone else in a third party, that you're really not sure if they're going to make any decisions. They're being indecisive with you. It's the hot topic, and like that may be causing you to feel indecisive about what to do. And it's, hmm, it feels like a good time for you Scorpios to really focus on self-appreciation, about what you appreciate, uh, about yourselves, about others, things like that. And I don't know, give yourself the appreciation that you would really like from others. And if you're experiencing, I feel like that card for you, like, yes, you're experiencing some financial constraints, but you're also, I think that it's more that you're being faced with others who are saying that they're being faced with financial constraints, or maybe not even financial constraints, but things that have to do with the 3D, things that really don't matter much, because it feels like you're very much in this energy of, well, kind of being more spiritual, you know? It feels like, or maybe that's what the energy of the finger of fate is bringing you into, is being much more spiritual, especially with both the third eye and the crown chakra being active and upright for your reading. And it could also be that part of where you're feeling indecisive is, do you follow your intuition? Do you follow your inner being? Or do you follow, well, see, but they both seem connected. You know what I'm going to say, Scorpio, is that whatever it is that's going on for you, the strongest message feels like, no matter what the 3D looks like, the best thing for you to do right now is just to sit and meditate and follow your heart. And sometimes that can mean just staying put, holding still, which isn't a strong suit for you. I know, I'm Scorpio Mars myself, but it feels like if you do, if you can take inspired action, that if there's anybody that you're waiting on that's been in kind of a contractual situation that you have roots with, that that will work itself out. But you gotta have faith. You gotta have faith, faith, faith. Oh, you gotta have faith, baby. Right? Maybe focus on music too. Focus on things that help you feel more connected to yourself. I think with that crown chakra stuff in there, maybe do a little more 5D work, you know? You can connect with anybody that you want to in 5D too. All right, Sagittarians, let's see how this finger of fate is affecting you, which seems very significant considering Chiron. Uh, let's see. You know what? Yeah, I'll take that. I was going to say I saw a couple of repeating cards, but then again, I mean, that does happen when we're looking at how things are affecting the same. I don't even know how to explain it. Thanks, Mercury. You've got the sixth chakra, Archangel Metatron, which, if you've been watching this whole video, that came up for Scorpios as the shadow card, but your shadow card now is indecision. And the hot topic is yin yang reversed. Ooh, healer of the ages, which is so very fitting, especially considering Chiron is the wounded healer. And right underneath that is victory, which feels really relevant. Let's look a little bit here at what's going on underneath this indecision. Got hostilities in reverse, the magician in the mirror, temple path in reverse, financial constraints, anxiety, the door to personal healing and happiness, and walking away, strategy in reverse, deceit in reverse, and adjacent possibilities. Well, I mean, it feels like the hot topic for you right now is how your life is not in balance. Maybe it is that you don't have enough help with things, or that you've been over helping with other things, or you've been giving too much to an emotional situation and not enough to your personal situation, or too much to the 3D and not enough to the 5D. Either way, because this is in your shadow card position, especially with the hostilities card there, it, well, and with that magician in the mirror, I'm kind of getting the sense, Sagittarius, that how this finger of fate is affecting you is that there's kind of some sort of battle going on. It feels like you're kind of connected to the War of Roses thing, and there might be something that you know that you need to do intuitively, and you're not saying it or doing it, you're not speaking the truth because you're worried that somebody will be hostile if you do. It may be that there's somebody that you need to say, like, you know what? I don't want to connect with you anymore. The energy doesn't feel good. I don't like how you are. You don't match my morals, or you trigger me, or you bully me, or things like that. Or maybe it's simply like letting a loved one know, you know what, I love you, however, your behavior is unacceptable, or it could simply be going out and having more fun and letting others know, you know what, I'm putting too much time into work or into helping you or things like that. And it feels like maybe you could use a little more of that strut your stuff energy, that peacock energy, get more into music and stuff, and be around those who are more into spirituality, like really connect with that. It feels like that's what this energy is bringing you to focus on, is kind of your spiritual path and getting away from situations that are emotionally challenging and heartbreaking without necessarily abandoning them, but you might feel like you're abandoning them. Maybe you have a parent to take care of, or a sibling who's not doing well, or um, kids or nieces or nephews who require a lot of attention or connection. And what you really need to do is trust that Spirit's got the situation handled and go have fun. I know you're hard workers, Sagittarians, and you're often very much caretakers too. So definitely, if this feels right for you, follow it. All right, let's see. What do we got? Oh, Capricorns. And it's funny because the cornucopia card almost wanted to pop out there. Oh, all right. Well, let's see. Oh, Angel of Strength, fellow Cappies. And that's funny. So the cornucopia card is now the hot topic. Broken Heart in reverse as the shadow card. And Heart of the Matter, Caring Connections. Interesting. Interesting. Curious and curious. Right beneath that broken heart reversed is man holding a heart reversed. The sun reversed. Woman holding a coin. Angel of love. Community in reverse. The thinking woman. Patience. Not our favorite. The door to romance. And man holding a coin in reverse. Even the world reversed. You know, it feels like for Capricorns, this finger of fate is really testing our inner strength and our ability to be an angel. And angel does not necessarily mean always kind, or not always kind. I should always nice, because I look at sometimes kindness is it can come across as not being nice, but it's actually very kind. And it's also very much, I mean, I relate it to the strength card in the regular tarot deck. It's very much the beauty and the beast card. It may be that this is highlighting some area where either you need to be not beastly, but allow your instincts to lead you a little bit more. But don't do it without the balance, because we're seeing just underneath the hot topic card, which is that cornucopia card, is yin yang in reverse. And with the caring connections in there, you know what it feels like is that there's, for Capricorns with this finger of fate, it's really bringing in abundance, especially in terms of physical stuff. And it may be that, especially with that woman holding a coin in there in upright, with all this reverse love stuff, it may be that right now, what this finger of fate is bringing in is a lack of like emotional connections. And it's really causing you to focus on your coin stuff, and both to because you're likely trying not to be a part of whatever said dramas are going on, but you're likely feeling, well, that fear of abandonment stuff coming up, because especially with man holding a coin in reverse and man holding a heart in reverse, it could be that Spirit is bringing in kind of a silence to situations that have to do with love. You may feel constrained in terms of what you're able to talk about, and so it's having you focus on the physical 3D stuff And not just the physical 3D. This is a card of manifestation too, of harvesting. Actually, you know what, Capricorn? What I already said is relevant and it's included. I think what the real deal is, though, is that what's going on right now, probably just after the full moon in Libra, when you release some of the anxieties and the attachments to more emotional situations, is that then it all comes in. Then you get the cornucopia, you get the money, you get the guy, you get the happy family situation, you get the magic, like you get all the things. You get to be the GOAT, you know? And I think it's really also like this is kind of a time where people are seeing you as being that abundant, as being a very strong person, an angel, but angel and also a beast, you know, like they're seeing you as that. And it may also be that it's not just that you're feeling heartbroken. May be that, you know, you had to let your lioness or lion side out to roar, and that really affected man holding a heart in reverse. I have a sense he was already in reverse, especially if you roared at him. But it's likely that that situation is part of what's bringing you the correction of the situation. It feels like this timing has a lot to do with that. I'm running low on battery time here, so let's do Aquarius. Seeing that action card pop out of that. Thank you. Oh, Aquarius, you got storm warning with community in reverse in your shadow position and appreciation in your hot topic and healer of the ages in the middle. So I think, to keep it short and sweet, is that there are some storms coming in to their tower situations to knock down third party situations that are not doing you good. And it's to help you become the healer of the ages, to help you feel appreciated and to better appreciate others. Let's do Pisces. Sorry to have these so short. I'm not in my usual car and situation where I have a charger. So, you know, I'm going to say that Pisces is probably a good time for you to focus on recharging and being in stable situations where you don't need to worry about that sort of thing. Thank you for 1 to 2 cards for Pisces. This finger of fate, how it's affecting them. Thank you for making this quick, Spirit, so that I don't run out of battery. Oh. Yeah, that's funny. Angel of Balance. You got the 7th chakra in reverse on your shadow card. Angel of Love in the hot topic. And the Thinking Man. So Pisces, I think this, I mean, it's a fitting theme, but look at where you feel like you're out of balance in various areas of your life and maybe ask for assistance from angels of balance. Really, you know, this time is challenging you in a way that maybe takes you out of your normal connectedness to spirit, your normal connectedness to intuition. And it may be because of probably a masculine in your life that is really taking the time to think about things, and it's probably connected to a love situation. So if you're feeling abandoned or like you're not getting the connection that you want, now is a really good time to focus on, oh, hang on, I dropped something. It's a really good time to focus on looking at the other areas in your life where you may need a little more balance, that you've maybe given a little too much focus to relationships or this person or anything like that. All right, everybody, thanks so much for watching, and I'll catch you in the next video, at which point I'll have my charging situation figured out.